Welcome back to Module 4.2. In this lecture video, we're going to talk about solving proportions and we will do some application problems as well. So, to solve a proportion, we will use the concept of cross product, multiply diagonally, and then we can begin to solve for x. So, I normally start off with where the variable is at. So if my variable is on the top left, then I will start from there. Multiply diagonally. X times 48, which is 48x. Then I'm going to set it equal to, all right, multiply diagonally. 150 times 8. 150 times 8. Let me go ahead and get my calculator out. Oh, I apologize. Excuse me. I meant to get my calculator up earlier. 150 times 8. That'll give me 1200. All right, so what do I do here? Normally, when we have only two terms in the equation, all we're going to do here is divide it by the coefficient, 48, on both sides. And we will talk more about this in Module 9 as well, how to solve linear equation. So here, just a very easy problem. So 1200 on my calculator already, divided by 48. My answer, x equals 25. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Same thing, okay? Multiply diagonally. And I always start off with a variable is at. So my variable is down here on the right side. So I multiply diagonally and say x times 34. 34x, set it equal to 102 times 10, which is, you can kind of tell that's 1020, right? 102 with adding another 0, the power of 10. Now once I got these two terms, then I can divide both sides by my coefficient, 34. So let's do this in the calculator. 1020 divided by 34. My answer, 30 is the answer. Okay. All right. Couple more. Same thing. So I just picked a problem where the x is in a different spot. Just so you know, we can always begin where the variable is at and multiply diagonally. So x times 6 is 6x. Set it equal to 54 times 43. 54 times 43. That gave me 2322. Now to get x by itself, I will simply divide both sides by 6 since I only got two terms. The very last thing I do is divide it by the coefficient. So divided by 6, 387. All right, now this last one here, solving for x, I'm going to write it out so we can type in the calculator together, okay? So multiply diagonally where the x is. X times 18 or 18 times x. 18x, set it equal to 35 times 5 over 7. 35 times 5 over 7. So I'm going to put this in the calculator because I show you how to multiplying fractions back in Module 2. But I have not yet shown you how to do this in the calculator. So we will type in 35 times. Every time we entering a fraction, always put them in the parentheses. Okay, that's a good habit. And that gave me 25. So 18x set equal to is now equal to 25. And I'm going to use this problem to show you how to simplify in fractions using calculators. So to get x by itself, divide both sides by 18. So if I do 25 divided by 18 now, it will always give me a decimal answer initially. So with the graphing calculator, we can press math, choose number 1 to fraction, and convert to a fraction. That's 25 over 18 still. If you are using a scientific calculator, please ask your instructor to show you how to convert decimals to a fraction with the calculator you have. Now, let's take a look at the word problems. All right, proportion word problems are very, very common. For example, I always use this because I love sweet tea. So I know when I make sweet tea, 1 cup of sugar is for 2 gallons of tea. That's the standard. You know, in the restaurant, it's a standard. So if I must make 10 gallons of tea, then how many cups of sugar will I need? And most of them will say 10 cups. Excuse me. 1 cup. Oh, I'm sorry. There. I got it backwards. I am so sorry. 1 gallon of tea. I'm so sorry. 1 gallon of tea is for 2 cups of sugar. So if I want to make 5 gallons of tea, then I would need 10 cups. Oh, goodness. Mr. Chen Dong forgot how to make sweet tea. So this is like a restaurant standard, and I use it. I actually use a little bit less than 2 cups to make my sweet tea. So same thing here. My example that I'm showing you is basically giving you a rate start out with, then asking you how many cups I need to find. So word problems involving with proportion will either give you a ratio start out with, or it will give you a rate start out with. Just like this particular example. The distance to your brother's house is 666 miles. And the distance to the beach is 74 miles. If it took 18 hours to drive to your brother's house, so here we go. 18 hours is driving to the brother's house. The distance to the brother's house is 666 miles. So that means 666 miles to the brother's house is for 18 hours. Okay, so that's my ratio. Set it equal to how long would you estimate to drive to the beach? Well, that would be equivalent to driving to the beach is 74 miles. So we normally put the numbers with the same units, top to top, bottom to bottom. That means the 74 miles got to go on the top. So it can be right next to the 666 miles. So 666 miles for 18 hours. The question asks 74 miles for so many hours. X number of hours. Let's call that X. So now I can just set it up as proportion or using cross product. X times 666, 666X. Set it equal to 18 times 74. Let me do that in the calculator real quick. 18 times 74. That will give me 1332. Now, to get x by itself, we will divide both sides by 666. So my answer got to be lesser than 18 hours because 666 miles for 18 hours. 74 miles is way less than 600 something. So this number of hours got to also be smaller than 18. So now with the 1332 on my calculator, I'm going to say divided by 666. That will tell me it's going to be 2 hours. It will take 2 hours to drive to the beach. All right, so we normally put the numbers with the same unit, top to top, bottom to bottom. They're always going to try to give me a ratio start out with or a rate start out with. So this example where Frank invests his money, he thinks that he should make $15 for every $100 he invests. How much does he expect to make on an investment of $4,100? So this problem, all the three numbers here are talking about money, but they have a different meaning. This $15 is how much money he's supposed to make. So if I put 15 up here, I am also putting make up here. He make $15 for every $100 he invest. So that's my ratio start out with. That's my ratio start out with. Set it equal to this $4,100 is referring to as investment. So investment, 4,100 got to go in the bottom. So that's why the question asks, how much does he expect to make go on top for $4,100 he invested? So if I do this using cross product, that will be 100 times x, 100x, set it equal to 15 times 4,100, 15 times 4,100, 15 times 4,100, 0. That will give me 61,500. So to get x by itself, now I will divide both sides by 100. So my answer, x equal 615. All right. So a quick 2 example here to show you how we can use proportion with the word problems. All right. That will conclude this lecture video. Thank you for watching.